Welcome back to Whispenox, Whisper's place where history's darkest secrets meet the haunting edge of the supernatural. Tonight, we unravel a chilling tale buried deep within the most powerful residence in the world, the White House. Behind its grand walls and historic rooms lies a sorrow that never left a child's spirit, tethered by grief, love, and tragic loss. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a true and terrifying account that has left presidents, staff, and even guests shaken to the core. Turn down the lights, listen closely, and brace yourself as we step into the haunted legacy of Willie Lincoln, ghost child who never left the White House. They say the White House, the very symbol of American power and pride, carries more than just history in its walls. It carries sorrow, lingering energy, and echoes of the past that refuse to fade. And among all the tales whispered in its marble corridors, none strike the heart with more melancholy than the spirit of Willie Lincoln, the cherished third son of President Abraham Lincoln, who died at the tender age of 11 in 1862 during the heart of the Civil War, leaving behind a void so vast it consumed his parents with inconsolable grief. Particularly Mary Todd Lincoln, whose sanity would gradually unravel beneath the weight of repeated loss. After Willie's sudden death from typhoid fever, likely contracted from the foul water system that plagued D.C. during those times, the atmosphere in the executive mansion darkened palpably, and those who worked there claimed the air itself grew heavy, especially in the rooms where the boy had once played with his younger brother Tad. And soon after, the small coffin was lowered into the family tomb. Strange events began to surface: candles that wouldn't stay lit, cold spots near the east room, where his funeral had been held, and the sound of soft crying at night when no one was awake. Mary Todd Lincoln, known for her spiritualist beliefs and her deep mourning, reportedly began participating in seances both in the White House and at private homes in Georgetown, desperately trying to reach her departed son. And during one documented session, she cried out in joy, claiming Willie had spoken to her, telling her he was always near, a claim she defended until her own death. And although many dismissed her experiences as delusions born from grief, multiple staffers across various presidencies, including Ulysses S. Grant, Theodore Roosevelt, and Woodrow Wilson, also hold sightings of a young boy in 19 attire wandering silently through the hallways, only to disappear when approached, always near the same areas where Willie once slept and played. And it wasn't only the staff who were effectigists who stayed in the Lincoln bedroom, often recounted vivid, disturbing dreams involving a sick child calling for help, or waking to the feeling of small hands tugging gently at their blankets. And those skeptics tried to blame creaky floors, drafty windows, or overactive imaginations, no rational explanation could account for the sheer number and consistency of these events stretching across generations, presidencies, and political ideologies. It is said that Abraham Lincoln himself, tormented by the war and the death of his son, sometimes stood alone at the window late into the night, staring toward the Potomac, his expression blank, whispering his son's name. And though the president never publicly admitted to seeing Willie's ghost, a close aide once recorded in his diary that he found Lincoln pale and shaken in the Red Room, murmuring that he'd just seen Willie walk past, smiling, just as he used to, and when asked if he was certain, Lincoln simply nodded and returned to staring into the fire. Following Lincoln's own assassination, the paranormal occurrences did not subside. In fact, they intensified. And while some believed Lincoln's spirit also joined the spectral chorus haunting the White House, Willie's presence remained the most consistent and recognizable, often preceded by the sudden smell of Leelakshi's mother's favorite flower, and one frequently used in his funeral arrangement. His ghost was described as gentle but heartbreaking, like a child unsure whether he belonged among the living or the dead. Decades later, during Franklin D. Roosevelt's term, Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands spent a night in the Lincoln bedroom and awoke to a knock at her door. Upon opening it, she saw a young boy standing silently in the hallway before vanishing into the shadows, and when told, it might have been the ghost of Willie Lincoln. The Queen reportedly turned pale and insisted on sleeping elsewhere for the remainder of her visit. Even Winston Churchill, a man of profound logic, is said to have encountered the boy's spirit during one of his visits to Washington, allegedly stepping out of the bathtub to find a child watching him quietly before disappearing into the wallpaper, like mist, an event Churchill never confirmed publicly, but hinted at in private letters, as one of the few times I've truly doubted what I believed about the dead. As time passed, more first families experienced the same: the Kennedys, the Carters, the Reagans, all reporting eerie sensations in the upper floors, and most frequently, sightings or dreams involving a young boy in a white shirt with a solemn face, often seen near windows or fireplaces, always silent, and always gone the moment you looked twice. One of the most terrifying encounters came in the late 1980s, when a young staffer working the night shift heard muffled weeping and followed the sound to the Lincoln bedroom inside. The room was empty, but a rocking chair in the corner was swaying steadily, as if someone had just risen from it, and on the mirror above the fireplace, a small handprint had appeared, pressed from the inside. Impossible to explain. Attempts to capture the entity on camera have failed, yet audio recordings taken during paranormal investigations often pick up soft humming, rhythmic and childlike, and once, a voice so faint it was nearly missed, whispered the word "Papa," sending chills through everyone present. Yet, despite these deeply unsettling moments, those who've truly felt Willie's presence often describe him not as malevolent, but last caught between a world that has moved on and the memory of a father and mother who loved him so fiercely. Their devotion may have tethered him to this world, and it is believed by some spiritualists that Willie remains not because he is trapped by tragedy, but because his soul responds to the immense emotional energy that still pulses through the White House's decisions of war and peace. The echoes of his father's speeches, the trauma of his toil, like a beacon pulling him back again and again. As recently as 2022, a White House intern posted anonymously about hearing a voice say "Mama" during an overnight assignment, followed by lights flickering and a sudden blast of cold air that made her drop her phone as security footage later reviewed showed a strange distortion near the doorway where she had been standing, like a ripple in the air. And though the event was dismissed officially, several aides privately admitted that some things here are older than the building itself, and so, the story continues not a tale of a vengeful ghost or a violent haunting, but of a child, caught in time, whose sadness outlived empires and whose presence reminds us that even the most powerful house in the world cannot banish the pain of losing what we love most. Whether Willie Lincoln walks the halls still unseen yet ever present, or if he lingers only in the whispers of history, one thing is certain: the White House is not just a monument to democracy, but a tomb of memory, and the child who once played within its walls may never truly leave. If walls could talk, what would they say? In the case of the White House, maybe they don't speak in words but in weeping echoes, flickering lights, and the faint footsteps of a child longing for home. Willie Lincoln's story isn't just a haunting, it's a heartbreaking reminder that grief doesn't always end with death. If you felt a chill, a pang of sadness, or simply believe there's more to this world than what we can see, leave a comment below and tell us what you believe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real ghost stories from the edge of darkness. Until next time, keep your lights low, your doors locked, and listen for the whispers in the walls.